how to build emotional connection with the prospect on sales call. So in this video, I'm going to cover how to build emotional connection on sales call. Now, the reason I'm making this video is the other day, my girlfriend, Sophia, about 3 days ago, she went on a sales call and I was listening to the sales call and that woman simply don't know how to sell. And I realized that most closers or most coaches that are trying to sell their services, they sell in the same way that she did. And this is a huge mistake. So what she did in the call is basically just follow a script, ask some question about her business. My girlfriend, by the way, she's a sales coach. She's a business mentor. And she was working in Russian market. She's Russian, and now she transitioned into English market. So that girl, she came on a call. She asked her a couple of questions. She answered. And then she simply just blab about the program, just blab about all the features. She just told her, so the mentorship in this amount of time, there is 6 stages of the program. First, we build your personal brand by doing this. We help you create videos. Second, we help you to analyze your sales call. We go on your calls, we see what happens. She just sell features. And that's not what we want to do as salespeople. And you might doing the same thing. And that's not good because salespeople, okay, salespeople, they sell features. Good salespeople, they sell outcomes, right? But the great salespeople sell emotions. So that's why it's so important to build emotional connection with the prospect. And I realized that 90% of salespeople and coaches, they don't do it. They simply don't do it. So there's 3 ways to build emotional connection with the prospect: to build trust, to build connection, and that's how they're more likely to buy from you. That's the best way to sell, because if they don't have any emotional connection, they're not going to buy. People buy from emotion and they rationalize it with logic. So the first step that to build emotional connection is to start following a script. When you follow a script, it sounds like a robot and you don't use the words that you actually use in the day-to-day life. It don't sound natural. So I was actually looking over my girlfriend's sales call. She was following a script that she got from her mentor, and that's what more coaches do. They got some mentorship, they got some script from some YouTube video, and they just follow it word by word. So stop doing that. Instead, what you want to do is to follow a framework that you're going to use your own word in your sales, and you're going to have your own question, your own style, and you look more authentic. You don't sound like a robot anymore. So you need to use a framework. The framework that I personally use that helped me close a lot of deals. I sold over $1 million in about 3 years that now I'm in this sales experience, that I'm into this niche. So that framework that I use is the first thing that you want to do is to understand their situation. What is the current situation? So what do you want to change? What did you came and call with me? What is your offer? What is your current income? How many, let's say you're selling lead generation. How many leads are you getting? How many leads did you get this month? How many leads did you get last month? What did you try so far in order to fix this leads program? What are you currently doing? So you want to ask all the questions to understand the situation, see if you can help them and really understand their business. A lot of people, they just ask generic question and it's not good. You really need to ask the right question and go deep to the question. So don't just ask generic question, really understand everything about the business. The more question you ask, the more likely you're going to get a sale. You want to get all the information from them. You want to learn everything about their business and understand everything. After you ask and you understand the situation, you want to ask their pain points and why. After you ask the pain points and why, I'm going to cover exactly what question to ask later on. You want to get them to imagine the dream outcome, how is it going to be like, and then you tell them how you can help based on the problem they told you and based on the outcome you're going to sell to them, not features. So stop using a script. So the second thing that most salespeople don't do, and you're probably doing, is simply just go deep enough for the pain. Don't ask about their pain, about the real reason why. So what you really need to do is ask about the why, understand why they want to change. Now you might think that this is a little bit uncomfortable, and when you sell business to business, like they don't need to feel the pain, but it's not true. You need to ask about the pain. When you understand the pain and you ask about the pain, you get them to open up and share with you, and that's how you build emotional connection. So how to ask about the pain? Simple. You just ask this question about the pain, about the why. For example, why do you want to change? Let's say, for example, that you make $10,000 a month. What is your current situation? And then they start telling you why, and they will usually give you generic accents. So you really want to go deep. They will tell you, for example, I want to have a better lifestyle. Why do you want to have a better lifestyle? Simply just question why. Keep questioning the answer. I usually go 3 or 4 times deeper and ask why. That's something most people simply don't do. They just ask, okay, so you want to make $5,000 extra a month. This is how a program works. But no, you have to go deep. And if they do ask why, they don't even ask them like more why. They give you generic answer, okay? Now, some people might tell you that like, just tell me your program. Like, I don't understand why you're asking about my why. Like, I'm not feel comfortable to share it. So you simply tell them, listen, the reason I'm asking you about your why you want to do it, because there's a lot of people that come to my program, okay? They just want to make extra $10,000 a month. For 3 years, they have the same goal, but they are not really eager to make that change because they don't have strong enough why. Those people that came to my program, they see the worst result, and we don't really want to work with them because we want to get people who will have good results. This is why I'm asking you about your why. So tell me just like, why do you want to make this amount of money? How will it affect your life? How would your life look like if you will not change? If you still make this amount of money in the next 1 year, how would your life look like? Would you be okay? How would you feel if it will not change? And then you want to get them to imagine the dream result. After you get them to feel the pain, you ask why, imagine the dream result. After they tell you, like, I want to retire my parents, I want to have, like, support my children and my family, afterward, you get them to imagine the dream result. So after you get them pain and they feel the pain and they're very emotional, you want to tell them, how would your life look like after you achieve X, Y, Z? Then they're going to be, oh, it will be great. How would your day look like then? How would your life look like after this? How would you feel after achieving this? How would it affect the life of your loved ones? And then they start opening up. They start realizing what can happen. And then they see, you understand their why. They get motivated from their own answers to make that change, to help their family, to live a better lifestyle, to close their debt. They get motivated and they feel emotion. And the most important thing, you get emotional connection with the prospect. So think about it, all right? You got on a sales call. The guy asks you all these questions, and they will answer because people programmed to answer questions they've been asked for, okay? They're going to answer you after you explain them the reason why you're asking that. So you got them very emotional, and then if they end up not buying from you, they will feel so bad. Like they will feel like you just stole all their emotion, all their information about their life, and then they end up not buying from you, not working with you. They're going to feel terrible because you just stole all the information and all the emotion. They build that trust with you, that connection. You told them everything, the most painful thing about their life, and then they're not going to work with you. They don't want to have that. They don't want to have that pain. They will trust you, okay? After you ask this question, they trust you. They open up. You lead them to the call. You lead them to the sell, and that's how you end up to sell because they have connection with you. So the third thing, after you've done that, what you want to do is to use your own stories from your life or from your coaching program. So let's say, for example, actually, especially when they have objections. So let's say, for example, I don't think it's the right time, okay? Everybody knows that there's never the right time and you need to prioritize your time. You know, if they say, I don't have enough time, everybody knows that it's just an excuse and we all have the same 24 hours a day. You just need to prioritize, right? Everybody knows that. But if you just tell them, they will not they will be maybe angry on you that you tell them it directly. It's not comfortable to hear that. So what I would use is stories. That's how you also build connection. So always tell stories about their situation. Get them to see you as them in the past and how you change. Get them to see you as their hero, kind of like they are living through you their hero journey. I'll give you an example on how to do it. So let's say, for example, you know, I'm really scared when there's this amount of money. I don't have this amount of money. Very objections. You tell them, first thing, yeah, I completely understand you. You agree with them. You know, I felt the exact same thing actually about 2 years ago, 1 year ago. I was exactly the same shoes, you know, I was in the same situation. I was making this amount of money and I wanted to provide more for my family as you want right now. And I didn't have enough money to invest in. It was very scary for me, but I actually came across this book that says, if you want to change the situation, the only time to do it is right now, because everybody says 90% of people that one day I will make a change and I will do all the things I want. But 99% of people don't make any change. So the best time to act is right now. Once I realized that I invest $10,000 in my mentorship program, like coaching mentorship, I quit my job and I just went all in on what I want. And that's what got me to where I am today. So let me ask you this. Do you think there's going to be a good time for you to start or no? They'll tell you no. So when is the best time to start? And then that's how you lead the call. So when you use your personal stories, they see you as the hero journey that they could become. They see that you've been in the same situation as them and they want to live like you. That's why you're a coach, right? That's how you're going to help them. So when you also open up on your sales call, right? If you open up, you tell your own personal story, it will help your prospect to open up. So if you do all of these things, right? If you not sounding like a robot, as I told you, first thing, start following a script, follow a framework. The second thing that you do is ask about their why. Get their pain, they get emotional, and they get to dream it, to imagine the dream outcome. And then you use stories from your own life, right? And you get them to imagine that they can have the same thing and you can help them. They end up buying 90% of time. If you do it right, they will buy from you if you build that emotional connection, all right? They will care about you. They will stop giving you that fake objections and they will be open and honest with you. And that's what you want to do in sales. That's what most sales reps and coaches don't do. Simply, I see sales recording and I have also my clients. I saw how he was doing his sales calls. We analyzed them. We help him to use this framework and get emotional connection and increase his sales conversion to 75% from 20%. So this system works. Just apply it, get the framework, write it down. I'll actually add you down below. If you click down below, I will have the full framework I use to get emotional connection that you can ask the right question and get them to open up. I'll link it down below so you can use that on your next sales call. Hopefully that was useful. Do that on your next sales call and follow for more value. See you in the next one.